I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Let's just start. Let's get into this.
Dude, yeah. I think
Let's fucking get into it.
Let's do that.
All right. I'm saying January. I'm saying 2021. People are out there testing the waters again.
Yeah.
Like, okay. But until then, I think we're on motherfucking lockdown.
Dude,
I mean, what day is it? Honestly, I really don't know what day it is anymore. I go on social media once in a while and I hear it's day 42, day 22, day I don't even know anymore.
I couldn't even tell you. Who's fucking counting? Like, who's counting?
But that's day to you. Like, that's like to you, day 7, whatever. Like, I don't even know. Yeah. Like, I go out, I still handle my fucking errands. Like, I have to. Like,
right.
And as being an actor, like, I'm home anyways. Like,
right. I thought you have a different mustache going on there. What are you doing, auditions?
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Yeah, let's talk about the mustache. I not want to typically grow a mustache. But this time around, I don't know if you guys have been watching some of my TikTok videos. I've been Carol Baskin a couple of times, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So now I'm moving into my Joe Exotic phase.
Oh, thank God.
Yes. So I will be doing. I've got a whole litany of Joe Exotic TikTok videos that I am going to fucking commit to.
I love it.
like I've gone on eBay. I've ordered like the fucking like extensions.
Yeah.
Like I'm not fucking around.
So I know you're so a method actor. Like when you go all in, I've seen you do this before. Like you're totally all in. You're committed.
So I just want to
even to get the mustache going. Yeah.
I just want to tell you that my wife just recently discovered TikTok, okay? And it's your guys' fault, really. It really is, because you send me these links and then I share them with her and she laughs her ass off and then she gets TikTok and then she starts looking at a lot of Chad stuff. And so she's looking at this and she's like, Jesus, like he really commits to these characters that he's doing. And I'm like, you have no idea. Like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, he's 150% in this, And so, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Well, now it's just I can't get her off TikTok, so.
Yeah, it is addicting.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll
Nick, I see you on there.
Oh, yeah. I'm on there too much sometimes. Because, like, what are you going to do? Like, you're laying there at night and you're trying to go to sleep and you're like, oh, I can't go to sleep. So you just, look at TikTok, check my account really quick and be like, oh, what's this video? Oh, that's cool. Oh, what's this one? This one. 1,000 later, you're like, man.
Down the hole. I know. And it's fun to see, like, everyone's kind of, like, style, their TikTok style. Like, you have, like, a hip-hop flavored kind of style over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's rugged. It's rugged.
Yeah, it's rugged. Like, I like it.
It's just true
it's
G.
like old school, like, I don't know. It's just my era. I feel, I don't know. You know how you, like, you get off, we do a G Crew episode, you're doing something, you're doing all this stuff all day, and then it's like you feel that energy burst, like that second wind or that vibe, right? And you're like, man, I feel this, or I feel this song right now. Like, it's cool. That's how I'm just kind of taking a second to just like do something fun, and I'll just like be like, hey, let me just throw this video together really quick. It's not as complex as yours, Chad, but it's something.
But I agree. You can't force the TikTok. Yeah. Like I've discovered, like the more you try to force a video, it's not going to happen. But like if you're like, no, I think this idea's got to work, and then you commit to it. You just got to commit.
Yeah, and you can't overthink it either. I noticed like once you start overthinking, you're like, oh, I'm not hitting this right, or the right footsteps, or the song's not in cue. You start thinking like editing process, it's over. Like forget it, just move on to something different. You just
described exactly what I do. That is me. Yeah. I overthink everything, especially when it comes to that stuff. Yeah. God. But gentlemen, man, I am super stoked today. We get to talk to a freaking amazing guy. He's become a pretty good buddy over the last couple years. And, I mean, this is a guy that absolutely needs no introduction, especially in the paranormal field. But Ryan Buell, welcome, my friend, to the G Crew. You're now officially a G, my friend.
Nice. What's up, guys?
Good. How you been, man? How's everything been in your part of the world right now?
I mean, fucking sucks. We're all in lockdown. It's in South Carolina. It's kind of weird. They're like, we're in lockdown, but not technically a lockdown.
Yeah.
But
it's like Iowa here. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Same type of deal, man. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said already. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah. It is a different vibe going on. Like, I feel like everyone's stressing out a lot too.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of wearing on people's health. You know, there's already like a health crisis going on. And on top of that, you know, people are having like these mental breakdowns, stress, health, fighting, dysfunctional stuff is starting to occur. I'm noticing with families and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even my own family, man. It's like there was one moment, kids are fighting, parents are fighting, everyone's fighting. And I'm like, I walk into the room right after the intro episode. Yeah, everyone's there. I walk in and I'm like, look, why is everyone so negative? Like, what's happening? I seriously, I said that. I'm like, why is this situation so dysfunctional right now that it's typically not like this? Right. And it's everyone's on top of each other. You know what I mean? For 2 long months, I can only imagine like months more of this. Man, you know.
Glad I don't have kids at this point. You know? You know, I'm very happy about that. But I mean, just trying to do my best to hang in there. You know, I work with people in recovery with addiction, which I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. And like right now, on top of everything that's going on, you've got people who are in early recovery who are relapsing because they're losing their jobs, they're getting kicked out of halfway houses, and like, you know, and so like when they're in that early stage of recovery, they're extremely vulnerable, and it's just been really scary because, especially people who are overdose and whatnot, they don't, at least in certain areas, they can't really let them in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing I'm seeing a certain shade right now, which is that part, and just seeing like every week, you know, this person relapsing, this person overdose, and it's just like. So, like, the fallout from this is much bigger than I think we realize. Mm-hmm. As you were talking about mental health, I mean, like, it's really weird, man. It's really weird.
Yeah, I know. It's easy to fall into that dark place. It really is. You know, I think all of us have been challenged in our life at one point. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's financials, if it's the mind messing with you and you going down like that rabbit hole into that dark place. I know I personally done it at times in my life where stress, depression, financials, it doesn't really make a difference. I know, Chad, you have, I have. Oh, yeah. All of us have. I don't know about you, Josh.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. No, I have.
We never really talked about it, but I know all of us have, man. And it's like, man, on top of everything that's going on, it just makes it 10 times worse, I feel, you know? And it's easy for people to slip into this. But let's start from the beginning, Ryan. Like, you know, let's talk about the paranormal for a second. Like, how'd you get involved in it? How was it? Was it something you were fascinated with? Was it something that you kind of fell into, like, you know, here you are suddenly you're doing Paranormal State, you know what I mean? Like, I know some of the past history and I know a lot of people do, but let's just start from the beginning and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like most of you guys who are in the paranormal, I think a lot of us have had some type of life-changing experience. And, you know, growing up as a kid in the 80s, early 90s, you didn't hear anything about paranormal investigators. I mean, it was Ghostbusters. That's about it. But, I mean, I just had, like, these really weird experiences when I moved to South Carolina. I mean, just really bizarre stuff. And, you know, as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid, it really kind of traumatized me a little bit. I mean, I remember, like, telling my parents about it, and, you know, so being Catholic, they took me to a Catholic priest, you know, and had to sit down with him, and then the stuff just kept happening. You know, in this, you know, we were in the military, so we moved here, and we rented a house, and just crazy stuff started happening, but it was gradual. You know, like, I'd come home from school, and, like, I remember being in, like, the kitchen area, and I heard, like, almost like wood boards, like taking on too much pressure and cracking. I'm like, what is that? And it was coming from all over. And then this glass of milk I had just went whoosh and just broke. So I remember like standing outside my house waiting for my mom to come home because I was just terrified.
Wow.
And then the Gulf War happened, so my stepdad left for that. And like the stress was extra hard on the family. And then just more and more things would happen. Like when I'd be in my room by myself and like, I mean, I would hear someone walking around, you know, the door would open up, the closet doors would open and shut. And I'm pretty freaked out. I would scream and shout. And my mom, who's working 2 jobs by herself, you know, raising us, I mean, in a new place. I mean, she's stressed beyond stress.
Yeah.
She didn't know what to do. And like, So in a way, it was kind of like trauma, and I had to kind of learn to kind of bury it a little bit. And it was weird. It suddenly, as it started, it just kind of stopped after a few years. And then it picked up again a couple of years later, and then it just stopped. And, like, I tried to forget it, but then, like, but you know, how do you forget that? I mean, I don't want to appear insensitive and, like, compare this to, like, a rape or something like that, but it was like, when you have something like that happen as a kid, you know, I know what I experienced was real, no matter whatever it was. Mm-hmm. It stuck with me. And when the internet came out, you know, like, I'm at that age still where I can remember, like, before there was internet.
Yeah.
And, you know, going on there, I would, you know, like, I was already not a teenage boy, because instead of going on the internet to do other things, I was, like, looking up ghosts, you know, stuff like that. And hearing about EVPs, and then hearing about Ed and Lorraine, I was like, there are people who do this sort of thing. And then it was just like something way in the back of my mind just exploded. It was like, I have to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, like, I kind of just, like, you know, I was editor of my school paper. I had all these, like, you know, accolades in, like, high school and stuff. And, like, I got accepted to Penn State. And secretly, all I really wanted to do was be a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, I went to Pittsburgh first to a branch campus, tried to join a paranormal team. It fell apart the moment I walked in there. So I'm like, God, like, I'm in a city now. Like, there's got to be something. And there wasn't. I transferred to main campus, you know, and, like, there were 600 student organizations. I'm like, there's got to be one. There wasn't. And so I was bitching to a new friend of mine, and they were like, you know, Ryan, why don't you just create one?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right. So I filled the paperwork out and posted little flyers, Ghostbuster logo on it.
Hell yes.
Yeah. And it was like, are you interested in ghosts? And, like, out of campus, like, 40,000 people, not to say that everyone saw it, but, like, 3 people showed up.
Wow.
Wow.
And, like, yeah. And then it just took off, you know, like, we were in this university setting, and, like I said, I was doing other things, like, you know, like, I joined the Daily Collegian, which was, like, very, very prestigious to get on the staff there, and I ended up dropping out. It was like that or PRS.
Huh.
Wow.
Obviously, my mom was really pissed.
Yeah, dude.
We later found out that if I finished my training for Daily Collegian, they would have paid, like, half my tuition.
Shit.
They don't tell you that. But I dropped out to do PRS, and, I mean, it was pretty bad, but, like, I just couldn't let go of this obsession, if you will. I had to go back out there and experience it. And you ever see that movie Twister?
Oh, yeah.
Helen Hunt?
Yep.
It was kind of like, you know, I remember there was a scene in there that really clicked with me when, like, she kept, like, just being destructive, going out there. And Bill Paxton's character was like, you know, like, you need to scale back. And she kind of, like, goes into this, like, monologue about how, you know, it took away her family and her house and the tornado, and why did it choose her? And I kind of was like, wow, that was kind of like me, you know, with the paranormal. Like, why did it choose me and not this person or that person?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it just kind of became a thing. And then PRS just kind of, I don't know, like, just kind of blew up. Like, we were in a university setting. People thought that was unique. We tried to model it after, like, research departments. Mm-hmm. We had a psychologist that we partnered up with, and so we started, like, getting cases, and we kind of took a more clinical approach, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And then the Catholic Church started bringing us on cases, and then it was just, next thing you know, we were getting offers, and which was never my goal to be a paranormal reality guy.
Yeah.
But after getting different offers, I finally said, well, let's just try it. My thought process was, wow, this will actually fund our cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, sure. I had no idea it would be what it was. I thought this would be like some little tiny thing on A&E, which wasn't really known for much back then.
Sure.
And, yeah, next thing you know, just Paranormal State comes out and
Yeah, it blew up. Yeah, it's so funny story. the first time we actually ever met, because Paranormal State has already taken off, and it became a huge like sensation right off the bat. And I remember first creating Ghost Adventures and bringing those guys together and stuff. And I had the documentary. The documentary just came out at the same time, I think, around the same time as Paranormal State. And we crossed paths once, and I'll never forget the Maury Povich show.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the green room / blue room, whatever it was, and I'm sitting back there, and all these couples are in rooms. I'm walking down the hallway, and they're like,
Yes.
I'm a baby daddy. No, you're my baby daddy. And they're like kind of like rehearsing whatever they're going to say when they get up there with Maury. It was ridiculous. And I'm walking down, we crossed paths, and you're coming off, and it was like a whole thing on paranormal. We said hi for like 2 seconds, and then, that was that. But yeah, it was just a funny scenario, just listening to everybody in the rooms as I'm walking on stage there. And that was the first
amazing.
time we met. And that was back in 2000 and I think like right before 2008, right before Ghost Adventures got off the ground on Travel Channel. But the same thing, made a documentary out of fascination for the paranormal, just in the sense from my perspective. And I just want to see if ghosts existed, to be honest with you. Loved aliens, UFOs since early childhood, and ghosts and all sorts of stuff, and met those guys out in Vegas and said, let's go look for ghosts. And that's how it all started. And never thought the documentary would be anything. It started as something. It was a lump of mud. We molded it into a narrative. It's just basically how it became what it was when I finished editing it and put it all together based on evidence we collected. And then same thing, man. It's like I didn't even know what reality television really was at that time, besides watching MTV back in the 80s and 90s or whatever, But it is weird how our paths lead us kind of on this interesting journey, and we grow from experiences and evolve as human beings. And I think, you can suddenly go from interested in like this conceptual idea of paranormal, like you're saying, and then boom, you're in the spotlight, you're on this reality show, and there's this production behind it and everything like that. How'd you deal with everything? Like, afterwards, like the success of it. I know you have season 1, season 2, everything kind of flows. And then like after that, like, how was it, I guess, for you?
I dealt with it really badly. Eventually I fell into drugs and everything else, which, I mean, like, that was one of the things. Like, I was the shy guy who, like, kind of dweeby, nerdy, I guess I kind of still am. And, like, I had no idea it was going to be what it was. I mean, I literally remember the day that my life changed, which was December 10th, 2007, or like, so December 9th. I was doing a couple interviews. No one really knew who I was. And then all of a sudden it was like billboards in New York, billboards in LA, doing this press tour and stuff. And like, and then it just got really weird. Because when we were doing cases for Paranormal State at first, it was like, hey, documentary looking for cases. And we did it all in Pennsylvania. I felt like all those cases were genuine. Then suddenly we were getting, it was just like suddenly like production, boom, you got to go. And then it was just like this race and no time to like really think. And then you couldn't tell what cases were real and what wasn't. And then you couldn't tell who your real friends were.
Yeah.
And then we went from season 2 to like they kept calling it like season 2.5, whatever it was.
Right,
It was just,
right.
It just kept going and kept going. And like, I was still pretty young. I didn't take a breather for myself. There was no time for it. So like my life stopped. And even though I had all this success, I blinked and I was 28. And it was just like, what's going on in my personal life? And I was still figuring myself out, with my sexuality, with my faith, with my view on the paranormal. And like, I like to be very intimate with my clients. And I remember Lorraine Warren was just like telling me like, honey, you got to take it slow. You got to recharge. Well, production doesn't let you recharge. Your contract, you're on a schedule. So like things got really hostile at times, which I think I'm sure it happened on your show. Like just
All the time.
especially when you're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Well, I clashed with another host. I mean, that was just, my issue. But yeah, man, I feel you, like being on the road, like you're saying, all the time, falling trapped to substance abuse, falling trapped. And then you're absolutely right. You blink and then suddenly it's like, holy shit, like I'm losing out. I'm I'm losing everything that I'm having. Like, it's going out of control. It's a roller coaster ride, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. And then, like, the cases started to wear on me. And, you know, and then, like, towards the end of Paranormal State, you know, like, I got introduced to painkillers. And it was like, oh, this gives me energy. This will help me keep going. Okay. And then that became a thing. And then I just got burnt out. And, like, I was executive producing Paranormal State. Just, you know, I was doing a book. I was producing another show. And then it was just like, I got so confused as to what my purpose was. And it just got so bad. And then, like, the painkiller thing became such an issue that, like, I mean, I was taking, like, 70 a day at one point.
Holy shit.
Wow.
And yeah, and I didn't, and the thing is, I didn't even know, like, it was something you could be addicted to until, like, I ran out. And then I was just like, what is this feeling that I'm going through? So, like, we had a break for Christmas during season 5, and I remember detoxing. And I just had this, like, this moment where I was like, I'm done. And my contract was up. They were talking, of course, it was still successful. Our ratings were still doing well. And they were like, you know, talking about renewing. And I just said, I'm done. I am done. Like, I just can't take it anymore. So, like, and I do have a lot of fond memories about Paranormal State.
Yeah.
Like, it just took me some time. I had to step away from it. I wish I handled it a lot better and healthier than most people.
Yeah.
But, you know, the mix of all of it, I was falling out. And I didn't realize it, but I was extremely depressed. I was completely isolated. You know, I didn't have any support system. And I guess I kind of, like, other things that had nothing to do about the paranormal were getting in the way, you know, like bickering, politics, money, backstabbing, you know, like who really your friends? Like, it was just so chaotic that I needed to take a step back. Mm-hmm. And, you know, but that being said, like, I still do look back fondly on Paranormal State. It's just, you know, like I said, it was just this crazy roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
I mean, it just went really fast.
What do you think it was like? I mean, you've probably thought about this a million different ways when you went through it, and even now, like, you've been obviously sober for how long and stuff like that right now?
3 years as of tomorrow, actually.
Awesome, bro.
Right on, man.
Man, congrats.
Thank you.
It's hard to stay focused. I have a couple of friends really close to me that went through all like hell like that. Really good people that I know. And it's a struggle, man. And I think, like, look, I told you before this, like, we're not here to judge. You know, we love to talk to everybody and give them the opportunity to talk about life, just period, just life. We all go through the freaking ringer, man. We all do. And I'm not in your shoes, so I can't experience and feel what you went through. But, like, here's the problem. Like, I know everybody in the paranormal community, outside the paranormal community, pretty much friends with everybody. And it sucks, man, because unfortunately it's such a small community, right? Where everyone wants to shit talk each other, right? I don't, because I'm the type of person that will say it to your face before I go and say it to them, or I'd say it to everybody else, you know what I mean? So it's like, I've heard it for years, you know, Ryan's this, Ryan's that. Ryan's a backstabber. Ryan's two-faced. Ryan cut out on events. He was a drug. You know what I mean? I've heard it all, man. And it's like, fuck it. Let's have Ryan on and talk to him. And I can hear it right face to face rather than all the bullshit gossiping shit that I hear from everybody else, you know? And I would do that with everybody else. I don't care how shady or how shitty or how whatever the person is. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I actually respect you coming on, because it could be really quickly like, no, I'm not coming on. Do you know what I'm saying? That's like the easiest cop out. I mean, how has it been dealing with all that shit? You know what I mean? Obviously you went through it, and I don't know like all the other details, but I mean, like, you tell me, man, like, what are facts and what isn't, or whatever you want to say on the behalf of all that stuff, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, so, I mean, when Paranormal State was done, it was just like, when hard drugs entered my life, it entered at the perfect time. Like, literally was at the lowest of my low. It was like a year after I finished Paranormal State. I got introduced to, I went out to LA.
Yeah.
And I just got introduced to it. I said, you know what? I just had a breakdown. I literally had a nervous breakdown. I said, F it. Let me just try everything.
Yeah.
And I did methamphetamine, heroin were like my two go-tos. Like staying up for days on end. I went out there and I didn't come back for like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I literally just imploded, went from, when you're a drug addict, you're not the most sane person. So you lie through the skin of your teeth, Not only that, you're hallucinating like crazy. And then, I wasn't showing up to events, but not for some malicious reason. You're a drug addict. I'm like, oh yeah, I got all this time to get there and clean up and sober.
Right.
You're strung out. And I remember the first event I missed was Chicago Comic-Con. I had everything was paid for, ready to go. And I completely had no idea.
Yeah.
Just everything fell apart. And it wasn't just, I'm dabbling in drugs. I was, and I'm not saying this is an excuse. I was done. I didn't care if I died. I was just done. I just isolated. And, but yeah, man, it was, all the things that happened to me were done by my own hand, So how I've been dealing with it, it's been kind of oddly enough freeing, because when I finally hit rock bottom, 5 years later, when, I lost everything. Spent everything. Drug addicts aren't really good with money.
Looking for the next fix, obviously, and you went to jail too, right, for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
right.
I've got some. So in 2016, at that point, all my friends were gone. My true friends were there, but my family, they had to keep their distance.
Yeah.
I was just a tornado.
Wow.
And went to South Carolina. I don't even know why, with the guy I was with at the time, and rented a car, kept it for a couple months, didn't even think about paying for it, and then they listed it as stolen, and so in Florence, South Carolina, I was just thrown in jail, extradited up to Pennsylvania, and of course the whole town and State College knew who I was, and they were like, we want to make an example out of you, and you would have thought that would have been enough, but I went right back out there and did it again, and then things got really violent. I was constantly getting into fights, constantly in dangerous situations. With some really scary people. And at that point, I didn't even have access to the little money I had left. I was being threatened that if I didn't give it up, that they would get me thrown back in jail because I was out on bail, and they would just call and say, hey, he's back on drugs. So I was just I had no control of my life. And I wanted out, and I just remember at one point, after everything I'd been through, I remember sitting in this little tiny apartment that we were renting. Literally everything was busted up. Everything nice would pretty much at this point have been sold. And I just sat there. I was completely black and blue from a fight, and I was just I saw my life literally it was a TV, and it was flashes of Paranormal State, all this stuff I did, and it was just getting fainter and fainter.
Yeah.
And I remember finally calling my mom, who I hadn't talked to for a year, and and I was just I wanted help, but I didn't know how to ask for it. And and for sober people, they're it's easy, you just stop. But at this point, I'd been in for 6 years, I had no idea, and it was just how do I get out of this? Not only the drug part, but this toxic relationship and all these people. And so then the best thing that ever happened to me was I got arrested a second time. Mm-hmm. It was initially for a drug overdose, but the guy I was with, we got into a fight, and my friends were there to pull me out. Few friends I had left who would still talk to me were trying to get me out. And I just collapsed, and they called the ambulance, and they came, and then they saw I was a domestic fight. And so they arrested me, and then that was just when I was just ready. I literally sat in jail, and I was done. And and it was kind of freeing in a way to have it all out there.
Yeah.
To be this is what it is. But yes, I got out of rehab, and immediately, I remember the first time I showed my face on Facebook. Oh my God. It was I did a live chat, and just the comments were so negative, but I also kind of understand. Like, I realized I had a lot of work I had to do. Like, but at the same time, I think maybe now, like, people are starting to realize, like, you could be someone like that, a successful, young, promising kid, and fall into drugs.
Yeah.
And I think the first people to rally behind me were people who actually had experience, personal experience with drug addiction. And then other people slowly saw, like, hey, he's changed. He's actually doing events and showing up. But, you know, but I'm kind of on a different journey now, you know, like everything's changed, and I'm kind of grateful for that.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty amazing to me, though, too, for, you know, to go through what you went through, and now you're turning it around and you're helping others in the same or similar situations. You know, that does speak a lot to your character, Ryan. It really does.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is. For a while, I was afraid to do it because I realized the same situation I had with the paranormal as with helping people with addiction. Is like, I didn't want to get my heart broken again. Like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Totally.
When you're doing paranormal cases and you're trying to help people, and you just get drained, you get drained. And our cases are more client-based, and so, like, you try to help people, and, like, a lot of times you can't. But I did a lot of growing up through this. I realized that it's not my responsibility to change people. You know, like, I try to help a little bit. And that's kind of one of the things that I felt, one of the things that, or I felt disillusioned about, that kind of led to that dark place, was that, like, I just felt like, I don't know, like, what am I doing? And with addiction, you know, I was kind of afraid to, like, get to know someone and then they relapse and fall out. But I realized, like, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to be there when they're ready, you know?
I mean, what do you think it stems from? Obviously, you've probably thought long and hard about this, because I've been around, you know, a lot of negative people in my path, right? And I've been offered all sorts of shit. You know, I think some people, it's tough, right? Because I can be like, oh, I didn't start taking drugs and it was offered to me. You know what I mean? You probably get that, like, why'd you do it? You know what I mean? You're going to get it from both sides, right? So, like, what do you think it stems from, man? Like, I know you probably thought deep and hard about this one, but I'm just curious for others listening, if they're going through problems like this, maybe it will help them. I don't know, you know, from your experience.
That is something I regularly think about, where I'm like, I'm still figuring that out when you look back. You know, your life is a story. You know, after enough time passes by, it's like you see foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And, you know, they talk about having an addictive personality, which, yeah, I definitely have. But, you know, I know a lot of people with addictive personalities never fell into drugs. But, I mean, some people were like, it was probably that paranormal stuff you were doing. And I'm not going to sit here and go, the devil made me do it. You know, it was my hand, but like I said, it was like the perfect storm of everything.
Sure.
You know, like, and meeting other people who fell into addiction, you kind of start to realize that a lot of people who are very sensitive are the ones who fall into addiction, you know, and like, and I don't mean sensitive and psychic. I just mean like sensitive people. Yeah. And, you know, like literally everything in my life had fallen apart. I was successful, but everything in my life was falling apart. A relationship, my friends, like everything was just toxic. And then there just came the drugs. It was like right there.
Yeah.
And at the lowest of my low. And then it was just like, oh my God, this is freeing. And I knew what I was doing, of course. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I didn't, but I had no idea when I took those drugs that I would like blow up my career, you know, blow up everything that I stood for, at least for a time. You know, I became everything I stood. I became the opposite of everything I stood for.
Yeah.
And, you know, but like, yeah, it hit at that right moment. I reached for it. It started off with painkillers, so I already knew that some type of substance could make me feel better. And so when the harder drugs showed up, I was like, okay. And then it just, having the resources that I had, especially out in LA, oh my God, I was getting it delivered. It's like, to me, like nothing. And, you know, but then I just completely spiraled.
But people I think don't also understand is that, like, hearing you talk, it reminds me. I mean, I've been in LA for 20 years, and I've been around, people, or a buddy in particular that, his boat came way early. He was really young, and then all of a sudden he was in an Oscar-nominated film, and like it just. It really hit from there. Like, he did spiral, and eventually he's good now. But like a lot of the same things that you're saying, like, he went through, and it's also part of that shotgun like career. That thing, all of a sudden, it was on top of you, and like, oh my god, like this thing's successful. That messes with people. Fame is not a normal thing,
Exactly. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's ultimately, any drug or anything that becomes addictive, right? It becomes like, it escalates things in your life, and especially anything that's overtaking and overpowering your own like mentality in your own life, and that sense is going to spiral you out of control if you can't grasp a hold of it, I've never personally experienced it, so I can't speak from that perspective like you can, Ryan. So I can only talk to people like yourself and learn. I think that's what this is all about, is just learn from one another and evolve with that information,
Sure.
But I've been around it. I've seen it all. I think being in the spotlight, being in that situation, going to any club, going to any place, being around people who are like, here, take this, here, do this. You know what I mean? It's accessible, man. When you have money, when you have like, you're on a TV or a film or whatever, or a music like hit, whatever. It doesn't really make a difference. People will get to you. You'll have a million yes men around you instantly.
Oh yeah,
it's wild, dude. You won't even know who the hell's your friend. The friends who you think are your friends, you're like, shit, I thought they were my friends, and everyone becomes a backstabber. I get it. I get that perspective 100%. Fame and money is
it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword, right?
It is, man.
Yeah. Yeah, people think that that's going to make you happier. Fame's going to make you happy. It's not like that.
Stability and balance in your life.
Sure, exactly.
Money doesn't buy. You can't bring money to the grave, dude.
Right.
You can't bring your Lamborghini or whatever the frick you have.
Exactly. And just fame's an empty hole. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah.
It is. I mean, and it's a tough situation, right? I think, everyone around you, right, that saw you in that spotlight run, it's like everyone saw you for that person edited down for that 43 minutes on TV, right? So it becomes totally difficult, I feel like, suddenly when you have all these things in your life spiral you out of control, and you're trying to deal with your personal life, but everyone only sees you on the TV, And then suddenly it becomes a thing when all they see is, well, Ryan's in jail for this, and this, and then it's the internet, so everyone takes all that and escalates it, and then everyone starts gossiping about, like, hearsay. It becomes a telephone. I mean, facts are the facts, obviously, but I think like a lot of other stuff escalate, the situation of really understanding. Like, look, I'm not trying to make excuses for you or anything like that. I mean, I think you know like what you've gone through. I mean, you said it too. So it's kind of like, then you have people that were like, well, he was kind of like that before that started. It just escalated him even more, and he's always going to be like that. I mean, I don't know, man. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I try to really hard. I think I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how do you deal with all that, like, now, after basically, I guess what I'm getting at is being like ridiculed for all these things, and then being that person, and then suddenly like bouncing back. It's like digging a hole and trying to climb out of it, like, how do you deal with it?
Well, I mean, so there was a period of time where I took the hits, and I took all of them, and I was like, this is totally deserved, because, I did a lot. I mean, like I said, I blew myself up. Like, doesn't matter the reasons why I did it, I still did it.
Yeah.
But then there came a time where people were like, okay, Ryan, now it's time to pick yourself back up, because sitting here and just whipping yourself isn't going to help anybody. Yeah, you did some damage. Now it's time to move forward. And it was kind of like a journey of self-forgiveness. And I know like that may sound a little pompous, but like, how am I supposed to move forward if I can't?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
how am I supposed to do anything if I can't move forward? And so, you know, but like I said, everything kind of changed, you know, like, yeah, I miss certain aspects, but at the same time, what I don't miss is that environment I was in. If it took me to do this to change and get out of that, then okay, fine. Like, I mean, it's still a little too early to say what the whole big picture is, but like, I got to shed a lot of toxicity, and so here I am, you know, like, on top of talking to people about the paranormal or about sexuality, now I talk to people about addiction. And it's like, okay, do I still do the paranormal? A little bit, but like, I'm slowly inching my way back into that. And, you know, like, even like the events that I do, like, it used to be hundreds and hundreds of people, and I had such anxiety being around those people. Now I get to do these tiny little events and actually get to know people.
Yeah.
And without all that bullshit, that hype, you know, while I was still, after Paranormal State was done, I remember like, I actually got offered a couple different shows, and every time a contract would come to me.
Sorry, guys.
That's falling apart over there.
Oh, God. My phone. Sorry. Forgive me.
What was that?
There's zombie apocalypse on chat again.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. What were you saying with the events? You good, Chad?
Yeah, I'm good. Continue.
Well, I was just saying that, like, every time I'd be offered a contract for a new show, I would literally, like, right when it came time to sign for it, I would just run away. And I realized, like, I still hadn't, like you were saying about the fame and stuff. I never got caught in the fame part, but I didn't like all the noise that came with it.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, I kind of am enjoying having a slightly more private life, if you will. I'm still kind of healing from that. And the negative comments are largely gone, but I mean, some people are always going to think what they think. And yes, I'm sure while doing Paranormal State, oh yeah, people said all kinds of things about me. And I don't know. Like, I was a kid who had the show, and like, I had a lot of responsibility. I did my best.
Right.
And it kind of comes with the territory too. I mean, you're in the spotlight.
Oh yeah. I mean, people like to make up rumors, and I think they still do. I still hear some interesting things. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like Wikipedia, you can't change that one quick enough. I mean, I Wikipedia has me down for a bunch of shit. I'm like, they're trying to claim my middle name is Joshua. I even wrote the people who are like people that just like do it out of free will. I'm like, look, this is not, why can't I change my own thing? I keep changing my Wikipedia. They keep changing it right back until they finally banned me off Wikipedia. I'm like, dude, it's me. I had to prove it was me. And they're like, you can't put your own information of the real self of yourself on there. It has to come from somebody else. I'm like, what?
That's ridiculous.
Doesn't that beat the purpose? And everyone goes to Wikipedia. So they're like, so Nicholas Joshua Gruff. I'm like, dude, it's not my middle name. Oh, so you're married? No, I'm not.
No.
It's like, dude, it blows my mind. It's the internet, though. Come on, people. It's the internet. You want the source? Go to the freaking person living, breathing, eating every day and ask them the damn question, whatever question you want. But I think, you know, it's tough, man. I understand the journey of all of it. I understand the challenges in life from a different perspective. I've had my own. I understand the backstab, and I understand the politics. Politics are a shitty business in this industry, from music to film to TV. It's all the same shit. The money, man, it doesn't really make a difference. As long as you're passionate and you love what you're doing and you're waking up every day excited to do that for yourself, and you believe 150% in that, and you're living for that, and it's a positive thing, then forget all the noise. Do you know what I mean? It's like, forget the noise, man. Everyone's trying to look for a negative all the time.
And you know, like, you being a part of this, I mean, it really was a phenomenon. It really was. Paranormal State was fucking huge, you know. Being a part of that, and now, you know, as you are now, looking back on that time, I mean, do you look back at those memories fondly? Do you look back at, is it more of the antecedent to a problem that you later then developed? Or, I mean, how do you view that time period of your life?
I've made, like, to be honest, for quite a few years, I didn't even want to watch Paranormal State.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to hear about it. Then I made peace with it. After I got out of rehab, after I hit my rock bottom, after I had that destructive period, and I just kind of leveled out. I look back at it way more fondly now.
Yeah.
Like, it was a really cool experiment, and like, I know what we did on there was genuine, and it was a piece of me, as was the destructive part. And but yeah, man, we did some really cool things on that show. I'm really
Absolutely.
proud of.
Absolutely.
And, it's cool to see how it's still standing the test of time.
It's still on, bro. Like, it's still fucking on. Every day it's on.
Like, it's been 9-10 years since it originally aired already. I'm just like, and I had someone I live in Columbia now, South Carolina, and a girl noticed me, and she's like, I only noticed you because you were, the Penn State hat. You look way older now. I'm like, well, I mean, the show was 10 years ago. She's like, oh. But
she's just now catching it.
That new generations are seeing it and stuff, and I think if that's my only part to play in the paranormal, like, okay, fine, be it, like, then, and maybe it, because it's kind of like cyclical, like one thing inspires another thing and another thing, and it just keeps on going.
Yeah.
Ed and Lorraine's inspired me, Hans Holzer, John Keel, like those people. So like, who knows?
That's good.
Yeah, I look back at it fondly.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great period of your life right there that just like, obviously, the negativity came with the success in a sense, hand in hand. And look, I mean, I'm not looking, I think just people are listening. I mean, I'm not looking for an apology from you. And I don't think this is what this is about. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm sorry, everybody. Like, it is what it is, dude. Like, you're even saying you did all these things. This is what happened. Yeah, they're shitty, some of them. You're self-destructed. I mean, there was like, how would you explain the experiences? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth. Because you described some of it a little bit. You said there was mental abuse, verbal abuse, and it all escalated when you were on drugs, right? With individuals and people and relationships and...
Well, yeah, it was like, it was not fun at all. None of it was fun.
Yeah.
It was self-medicating. That's what it was. It was self-medicating pain.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like, obviously, like, I've done live chats, I've done events, and like, I've told my story and I've apologized to people and said, like, I'm very sorry for what I've done, and it's out there, and the thing that I found that I can best do is like, okay, that's not me anymore.
Right.
So this is who I am now.
Exactly.
So like,
And that's it, yeah.
and I know some people were like, oh, let's see what happens in 3 more months. Okay, well, and it's, and at first it was like, I got to prove something. But then I just realized, like, I got to stop. Let me just do my thing, but like, of course, like, I know a lot of fans were disappointed, that they believed and that they were hurt. My parents were hurt. My siblings were hurt. And not to say I don't care about the fans forgiving me, but after all the things I put my family and friends through, like, they were willing to give me a second chance. And like, hopefully one day, I know I can't win everyone back. I mean, it's just like a friend. Sometimes you lose friends.
Yeah.
You did a shitty thing that was really bad and you change, or you hope you change, but it's not going to be the same. And it's like, so like, I just kind of move forward. It doesn't mean I don't care. I have no choice, but for my own sanity and for my life, I just got to keep moving forward and hope that my actions speak more than words.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. Yeah, it was tainted. I think, it's hard when you're friends with somebody and then the relationship or whatever is happening is tainted in that fashion, because then it's like, man, I don't trust this person now. You know what I mean? I want to be his friend and I want to be there for him because we had that. Right. But now there's something tainted about it. But that's life, everybody. That's that is life. No matter who you are, we're all living human beings. No matter how shitty, how whatever the case is, it's a part of life, so we can all grow from that experience. You know, that's why I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I think, you know, and I seriously don't want to beat a dead horse here because, you know, it just becomes a redundancy of like, you know, this is what happened. But yeah, I guess there was one thing. I was just really curious, Ryan. There was one thing about something I read. This was like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, saying there was an event or something like that. And I'm just speaking out of the context there because I don't really know. I'm just asking something about an event, and then you bailed on the event is what it says, and saying that you made up like, oh, I have cancer and I can't do the event or something. And then everybody was like going AWOL about it. And I only saw this through passing, people like sharing shit. What was that about, I guess, is my question.
I did not have cancer.
Yeah, well, that's obvious, yeah.
Everyone, it's like it's obvious. That was something that I don't even remember how I told people. Like, it wasn't like, it does no benefit to me to come up with, like, for my career. Like, this was all a person on drugs.
Yeah.
Sit there and, like, I was making money fine enough before all of this. So, like, to come up and say that I had pancreatic cancer, which is, like, the highest death toll possible.
Yeah, my grandmother had it. So I was like, fuck, dude. You know what I mean?
But I told a few people, and it spiraled.
Yeah.
And it got out. And I remember the a couple moments where I sobered up for like a few days. We were trying to like take down those stories, and then people had it. And yeah, looking back now, I'm like, this would have been an easy fix. No, that's incorrect. But it just blew up, and it was just like, which of course made me self-isolate even more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, shit. But it was actually my mom came out, and my mom was like, he doesn't have cancer. Mm-hmm. He's on drugs. And there was something kind of freeing about it because I was like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this lie. What do I do?
Right.
So on top of everything else that I did, that's the thing about addiction, man, is that like, it, not only are you in pain from other stuff, but then the shit you cause, you want to take more drugs to forget the shit that you did.
Yeah, sure.
But like, yeah, it was like, I told like a few people, like, I don't even remember it, you know, and then it just out there, and then it became this thing, and so then it was like, I'm stuck in this. Sure. And that was a really awful thing that literally I felt like I should die for saying, you know, and that took me a lot to get over that part and make peace with that part. And but you know, when I've told people, when I've spoken in front of a crowd and I've told, like, I was expecting people to like literally take chairs and just, you know, and just like hit me with it, and they were like, okay. You know, I mean, some people were like, you're an asshole, I hope you go to hell for that, I hope you die. And I'm like, okay. But like, I mean, you can imagine what my family felt when they thought I had cancer.
Yeah,
right?
Man, yeah, for sure.
And I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. It's just, it's so crazy. Like, I'm so thankful that, like, that's out there. And, like, yeah, not everyone knows because I don't have, like, one giant platform to say, hey, fact check. But, you know, I have gone out there and I'm like, no, that was not true. You know, and here's what was really happening. And yeah, so.
No, I appreciate you being honest about it. Honestly, it was just something that crossed my mind that I remembered. That was one thing I was like, fuck, man. Like, I remember sitting at my grandmother's bed and watching her pass away from pancreatic cancer / what did Michael J. Fox have? What was it?
Parkinson's?
Parkinson's, yeah. So she had both that basically took her life. It wasn't the Parkinson's that took her life, but I think it was the cancer eating her. And, you know, I mean, I love my grandma. And then, you know, hearing that, because I dealt with that early on, right when I started Ghost Adventures, I dealt with that. It was a hard time, and my mom's mom. And then hearing you say that, I was like, man, like, I couldn't comprehend. I didn't know you. I didn't know what you're going through. I just saw it, and it was a fact, and it was out there, and that's what happened. And I was like, all right, fuck, he's a liar. Like, all right. I mean, I've met a lot of liars and shit talkers in my life, dude. Like, it would blow your mind. Like, I interviewed thousands of people, you know what I mean? And it's like through my career, over a decade of doing this. And it's just like, man, I can tell instantly when someone's bullshitting me, you know? Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, dude. I appreciate this moment through your journey, what you went through my journey. Whoever thought in the world we'd be talking like this right now, to be honest with you. Man. You know what I'm saying? And just having a freaking open conversation, just being real about shit.
Yeah, man.
There isn't enough of that.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, dude. I take the apology, not hurting my feelings. Look, I had to deal with my grandmother, but it's not like you affected my mentality and you affected me because you did that. I think other people were affected by like going to the event and supporting you and being like, F him, he just screwed us over. And I've heard it all from a ton of people. But I think it's about right now, man. And I think it's about moving forward. It's a part of life. You said it. You know, and I believe that too. It's a part of life. We all make mistakes and we all say shitty, stupid things. But I think you're right. Like I've known a lot of people that were on drugs and addicted, and they say some terrible things. It's not them. Like there's something else inside them. I'm like, dude, I don't even know you right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Chad? Like your buddy there, and you've known a couple of people like that. Like you've seen them change, right, Chad?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was. Because everything hit him like right away, like when he was super young, and it just like, you know, I've had a slow burn in this business, you know what I mean, and I've had my ups and my downs, but man, his came all at once, and then it led to him self-isolating, and then he moved away, and then we didn't see him, and we thought, oh my God, he's gonna die, he's going to die, and luckily now he's got 2 kids and he's happy, and, you know, and it's just awesome to see. And I have just mad respect for just coming on, just talking, man, just being open, like sincerely. Thank you. Like it's awesome.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, like you said, Nick, like, how do I say this? There was a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. Like I let people down. Like, on drugs, I didn't get to deal with that too much. So when I came out of the fog after all that, it was like, oh my God. You know? So some people I know are never going to give me another chance. And I'm not even really asking for another chance. Like, I'm just, you know, but I'm not going to like, this was during a time that was a really bad part of my life, and I own it. And I've accepted the consequences. I accept how people may view me. I accept the damage that I've done, and it's not an easy fix. It's not something like this that I can clean up, even 3 years later. But you know, it did weigh on me, and it did hurt, and not even the casual fans, but even like some of the friends who, you know, shed tears that I was dying of cancer versus drugs, because when they would show up, I looked like I was dying, because I was on everything. But you know, in some of those friendships, I will never win back, and I understand. I have no choice but to accept it. But it's been a blessing, though, man, that people have said, "Okay, you know what, asshole, I'll give you another chance," and some people have come back into my life. Yeah. And it's made me value their friendships way more. Like, it's made me value life way more.
Right.
You know, at first I wanted to throw it away, and now I'm like, I want another chance at this.
Yeah.
So,
I hear you, man. I totally understand. I always get in these relationships, right? And and I always say this. It's kind of a weird thing, but I'm like, look, time will tell all, right? Time will tell all with everything. No matter, you'll get to know somebody really quickly after you're around them long enough. Are they going to be that person? Are they going to live up to what they're saying, their words, you know, everything, and be this great person and ripple affect this universe before they pass away in a positive mentality? Or are they going to go back that way or go this way or turn into that person like you did when you were in your 20s, you know? And some people, man, they never get out of it. They die, they go to prison, or that's it. You know, you're super lucky, man, that you're still living, and you seem like you're healthy now, and you seem like you're really trying to get your shit together. And I kind of feel like just listening to you, your whole life, you know, you were talking about in the beginning how you don't know if the paranormal chose you, you chose the paranormal in a sense like that, and it's skyrocketed into this like iconic, you know, Paranormal State phenomena and who you are, the host of that. But do you believe possibly today, because who knows what the future is, but today, all of that happened led you to now, to mold you into the individual to help other people, to help other human beings today, to say, look, I went through this, and people that are addicts recovering right now, you're helping those people. I mean, have you thought about maybe this is what I had to do in my life to get to here? Maybe it wasn't the show. Maybe it wasn't, you know, the paranormal. Maybe it was this. This is what I had to go through to become this person.
Oh yeah, like, so I did a thing. I'm going back to the school to finish my master's to become a counselor.
Nice.
Awesome.
I mean,
Awesome.
hopefully, you know, like, but I took some classes. I did really well, and like, my goal, yeah, like I would like to do that. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, doing another project would be awesome, but like, I'm finding my passion, even if it's just for a little bit. This is where my heart's calling me, you know, like I'm not ready to go back out and do a ton of cases right now, paranormal cases.
Right.
I consult where I can, but like this, and I also have this desire to like live a little bit of a normal life.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, even if it means like, okay, not a lot of money, but just like, man, like to just have some friends who are friends with me because of who I am, not because of that.
Yeah.
To be in a relationship with someone who appreciates me for me, not because of the TV. Like, it's been really cool because enough times pass by that, like, yeah, some people eventually they hear someone say something, but I've been able to establish relationships without them ever knowing. Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, my heart is a little bit more going towards the counseling route, and then peer helping people in addiction. Like, you know, again, especially like someone like you, Nick, who's never been through it, or I guess all of you guys, you know, you may not understand it, but like my mom, she was like, I don't understand what made you choose that path, but she was able to appreciate how hard it was to get out of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, she literally helped pull me out a little bit, and she gave me a second chance. And it's funny, even sometimes people ask my mom for advice, you know, who are so embarrassed to talk about it. And yeah, so I get emails about the paranormal, but I also get a lot of emails about people who are struggling with addiction. So it's like kind of cool.
It's freaking huge, man. Bro. I love it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's incredible for the people that struggle in life with whatever it is that you're going through. I mean, like, look, we're in a hard time right now, being all isolated. This virus is nasty. Politicians are crazy. The world is nuts. You know what I mean? It's just escalated to the point where it's like Wall Street crashing back in the 30s or whatever it was. You know, bad different times in the century, from the plague to this, to that. When it's all the hard times. And I think, you know, when people go through challenges in their life where they have to pull out of these situations, either it be financial, relationship, verbal, physical abuse, whatever it is, drug addiction, it doesn't really matter. Whatever that is that's like really tainting your life and controlling you, I think that's what makes a person, an individual, strong as a human being. That's what builds character, and hopefully more into the positive, and can really flip it and just move forward. And man, it is what it is, you know. You know, I had a buddy who was like, well, why are you talking to him? Be careful. You know, someone told me that, Ryan, and I was like, why not talk to him? You know what I'm saying? It's like, why not talk about stuff? And it was like, well, there's a lot of people that dislike him and this and that. So there's a lot of people that dislike me. You know, it's like, I think the thing is that, and I really love this dude to death, and he's like, well, he skipped out on an event a couple years ago on me and stuff like that, and I was like, well, he'll have a chance to talk about it, and I think you've already talked enough about it. And the facts is, like, moving forward, man, I really, really want nothing but the best for you. I really do, and I mean that.
Thank you.
Yeah, for real.
You know, I really do.
Man.
I think it's a huge accomplishment to pull yourself out of the fucking death pit. Dude, honestly, like, I will never truly know what you've gone through, from verbal to mental to stardom to money to, you know, whatever, losing everything to drug addiction to everything we talked about in this hour. I will never experience that, but I will experience half of that in my own personal life. And it's so hard to pull yourself out of the dark place, dude. Like, the brain is such a mysterious thing. We don't have all the answers to the brain, the conscious thoughts, the electricity, the energy, the dream state we go into, the DMT chemical that develops in our brain as a baby. When you die, people see the white light and whatnot. You know, it's like, you get into different religions, and Buddhists believe in so many different things with DMT, but it's like, dude, we live in a mysterious world. We're interesting creatures. You know, we're human beings. Wonder why aliens don't want to come down and mingle with us sometimes, because we're freaking nuts. You know, our brains are crazy. I'm total ADH all over the place, you know, like, yeah, man, I could easily slip down that path. I could go to a dark place. I could pull myself out. I mentally try to stay strong and give myself tasks and goals and things, because I have to live on the edge a little bit all the time. And it's difficult for myself personally. And I get it, man. And all I'm saying is I really, like, appreciate you opening up and being real about this. Because, you know, it could just be like a debate of bullshit, you know, back and forth, and a debate of, oh, I was wrong in this. But I mean, owning up to it, I think, is the best thing moving forward. And this is what happened. Here's the next chapter in your life, man. It could be the best. This is your time. It's your life, not my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be the best chapter. It could be the most amazing experience of your life right now. Like, this could lead you to, like, freaking the most amazing thing. We don't know. Like, shit, dude, you could come out and invent some amazing thing, and people, like, remember you for that and stop remembering you for the other shit. You know what I mean? Who knows? I'm just spitballing. Or you could help somebody who's strongly in addiction that is about to die, and you're helping talk through your experience, and it helps him flip his life around. You just saved a life now. Yeah. Like, that's pretty damn epic. That's just as amazing as being remembered for something like whatever, you know, Einstein or something. I feel like that's more powerful sometimes, helping somebody not jump off a bridge, and that person waking up the next day saying, shit, man, I'm glad I lived another day, because I didn't realize if I would have ended it that quick, I wouldn't have these great things right now happening to me. And I feel like I'm happy that I survived another day to live forward. You know what I'm saying?
I do, man. And that's one of the things that I got to experience in 12-step recovery. You know, they say we're not supposed to say the name, but joining a 12-step recovery group. So, you know, like, here I was doing all this inverted, terrible stuff to myself, and then you go into recovery and you get a sponsor, and that sponsor helps change your life, and then you go out and you help a couple other people, and you help change their lives. And it's just like my first sponsor is this amazing dude who, like, I mean, I literally would walk down the street with him. He's changed so many lives. And he's not famous. But this guy, like, literally, it moves me to tears when he'd walk down the street and in a town that's riddled with drugs, and, like, so many people would just scream, chant his name, you know, that he, like, helped them change their lives.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I've even met people here in Colombia who, like, have changed people's lives. I'm just like, wow, that's... You know, I mean, a couple people took a chance on me when no one wanted to give me a second chance. And I won't forget that.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's a guy in Asia, I forget where, Josh and Chad, but you can look it up. It's one of the most documented bridges that they, you know, there's San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, and then there's one, I think it's Asia, right? And
is it the forest? Is it the forest? That you're
not Suicide Forest.
Okay.
No, it's actually a bridge. It has the most documented suicides in the world. There's a amazing documentary on it.
I know which one you're talking about. I've seen that movie.
And this older gentleman, he goes to the bridge every day, and he's talked about 400, 1,500. I don't know the number. Like, I'm just guessing. It's been a while since I've seen the doc, but hundreds of people from jumping. He saved their life. He'll take them in, from homeless to whatever the person is. He'll take them in, give them food, talk to them, guide them, do the best he can, and then he saved hundreds of lives by doing this. Every day he goes to the bridge, he makes it his destiny. I forget his backstory and why he does it, but man, it's powerful.
It's pretty amazing.
And I just think that's like so much more of a powerful thing when you're helping people. Like, I'm a deep thinker, dude. Like, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and I'll look out at the stars and the universe that's so vast, and I'll say, what is the true purpose of us human beings being here for each one of us going through our journey? There really is no right answer.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody has the right answer. Nobody even has the right answer.
I do.
To be a
Chad's got it.
I have all the right answers.
Chad's got this shit.
Please
I really
fill me
have all
in.
this worked out. Yeah.
Please fill me in, because
Let me tell you how it is.
Dude, I've been searching since I've been born. I went through a period of my life where I'm like, oh, it's this, or this is what a ghost is, or this is what this phenomena is, or this is, and then it's like, not everything is a ghost. And, it's like every year it changes for me.
Yeah.
You know? It's like you just don't know.
I think it's like half the fun, though.
Well, I feel like you're not supposed to know.
Right, man.
Right?
If we knew, this would be fucking boring, probably, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, it'd probably be some anarchy or some, like, craziness happening,
That's just it, though. But, I mean, like, Ryan, like, what you're doing, like, helping others or whatever, I mean, it's inspiring, at least to me anyway, like, it's inspiring to see this. And for me to hear, like, everything that you've gone through, and now to hear everything that you're doing and what you're planning to do, it's fucking huge, man. I can't help but to smile because you are helping people, and like Nick said, all the bullshit aside and done and over with, and it's like, this is what's important right now, is this chapter of your life and you moving forward, man. And I'm proud as fuck. Like, I love it. It's great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've gotten to know you over the course of a couple of years at Malvern, and it has been cool, like, just going to, like, these traveling, and some people were like, I don't know if we want you here. We've heard something good about you. And then they go, all right, we'll give you a chance. And you can tell they're just like, oh, dear God. And then when I get to, like, meet them, they're like, okay. And I have, like, some really deep conversations with them about... Yeah. I never got to have that during Paranormal State. It was always like, boom, boom, boom.
Right, go, yeah.
So in some way, like... So, yeah, it's hard, man. It's tough. Like, I'm still paying for my mistakes, but, like, still paying for my mistakes, trust me. But, like, I do get little moments where I get to connect with people in a way I had hoped to do with Paranormal State 101.
Yeah.
And at least now I'm doing it. It's kind of like, I don't know, Second Life. Someone once told me addicts are very lucky people. We get to live 3 lives. I was like, huh? And it's like the life before, the life during, and then the life after.
For real.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. And but it's been a process, and I'm thankful I've made it this far.
Well, I think we're all pretty damn proud of you, honestly, for everything and all the steps that you've done.
Thank you.
It's pretty amazing. So
yeah, man. Like I said, I wish you nothing but the best of luck, nothing but positive vibes, dude. I mean, it is what it is with the past. I mean, I think this is like a great stepping stone right here, Like, I don't want this to be a whole therapist session. It's not really what this is about. Let's talk about all your problems. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, you made your mistakes. We get it. What do you like? Do you have, or what do you want to say to anybody listening or moving forward? Like, what would you like to say, I guess, from your perspective?
You mean regarding the past?
Just in general, man. Like, moving forward, like, I don't know, any thoughts of anything? I mean, you've already said the past. I mean, like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I'm just curious about anything else you want to say. Like, your platform, to talk about whatever.
I mean, pain comes in all kinds of different forms. Pain is pain, Like, I personally think that when this whole quarantine thing's done, we're going to see a surge in paranormal cases, from people who are being stuck in those places. There's the spiritual, then there's people in domestic abuse situations, there's people who are drug addicts. Like, we're all trying to get there, get through this life. And, like, I've struggled with a few things in my life. I have not gone through the worst of the worst, but like, it's as cheesy as it sounds, it does get better if you hang on.
Yeah.
You know, it does get better. And having gone through the things I went through when I was young, with the paranormal, with my sexuality, with addiction, with the destruction that I did, like all of it, like, I think people are more willing to forgive and give second chances than they are wanting to just hate on you too.
Yeah.
We all come from bad past, you know, and like, so if anyone out there is struggling, you know, it's never too late to get help. It's never too late for redemption.
And where can people reach out if people are struggling?
I mean, there's like, you know, they can reach out to, like, for example, Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, and they can find groups in their areas. Pretty much every state is broken up into different areas, and you'd be amazed how quickly you can get someone on the phone, how people will go pick you up and take you to a meeting. If you can't afford rehab, you know, rehab is great. It was a great reset for me, but I've met many people who have gotten clean or gotten sober by just going to meetings. It is one of the few successful peer, like, treatment groups out there, you know, where, like, former addicts, former alcoholics help other addicts and alcoholics get through it. And, you know, when I was starting my journey, getting out of it, like, I literally thought I will never have a second chance. I'm done for. And, I mean, life isn't perfect, but it is way better. And, but now I'm dealing with life honestly, on life's terms, instead of having to, like, numb myself. I mean, it really does get better, you know, like, so, like, definitely reach out, you know, NA, AA, and then, you know, if you are trying to go into rehab, there are all kinds of amazing, like, grants and places that will help you if you can't afford it. You just gotta say, hey, I want help.
Yeah.
You know, even if you don't know how to get help, you could just talk to someone. They will help you.
Thank you. Yeah. No, that's great advice, great knowledge. And if anyone's listening, you know, stay focused, stay motivated, give yourself goals in life that you feel passionate about, that you're going to keep busy, especially in these tough times. And just remember, you know, Ryan's actually right. It gets better. You know, if you just throw in the towel that easy on life, not knowing what's after, even though you have your own thoughts, ideas, theories, perspectives, religions, whatever it is, you truly don't know what happens when the body dies and that energy is released and whatever else comes. So live it to the fullest, let the universe and life take its course, but try to give it your all, man. Don't just throw in the towel. Don't just say that's it.
Yeah.
You know, just give it your all. So thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on and sharing with us. I really appreciate it, man, and opening up. And like I said, man, nothing but the best. So
yeah, brother, man.
Keep moving forward.
Well, thank you, guys.
Yeah, man.
See you
Thank
again,
you.
Nick. Nice to meet you, Chad.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, brother.
See ya.
Good to see you too, bro.
I'm glad we got to meet like this rather than back on the Maury Povich show.
Is that show still on?
I was gonna say,
still on.
I
is
don't
Maury
know.
still in the
I don't
game?
watch TV anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
That's good shit. It's good shit. Ryan,
right,
it's
well,
always a pleasure.
Take care.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Take
Bye.
care. Have a great night.
You too.
See you.
Awesome, man. Great conversation, you know, and I think it's tough, right? Because on one side of the coin, you know, it's so much, and I'm trying to remain positive about it. It's all the stuff that was said, all the negativity, right, that he did, and all the shit that went down, the lies and the drug use and everything. But like, I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, you know, and I know it's hard questions to answer, but it's like confronting yourself in the mirror every day with what you went through. Like,
dude, I gotta tell you, like, it is amazing to me, and I was one of those people that was very leery, right? Like, we were one of the first events that Ryan was going to come to. He was going to do a very private, personal type event for like 15 people right here at Malvern Manor. And I was like, man, the amount of phone calls and emails and shit that I was fielding from just people in the paranormal field, just livid, angry at the fact that he was coming back. And I was like, no. I'm like, first of all, who are we to judge anybody? You know what I mean? Just walk a mile in their shoes. You know, shut up. I'm not going to listen to that. And I was very optimistic about having Ryan. And Ryan showed up. And not only did Ryan show up, he had his sponsor with him. His sponsor was traveling with him.
That's amazing.
Because he didn't want to slide backwards. You know what I mean? And that right there was all I needed to see. I'm like, this motherfucker, like, he wants to better himself. And who the fuck am I to say otherwise, you know?
Exactly.
It was amazing. Every experience that I've had with him since then, that was the first time we met, and since, you know, has been nothing but positive.
Yeah. Leading up to this, I was really scared he was going to bail on us, to be honest with you.
Sure.
I thought 10 minutes before this, we've had this happen to us recently with people. Politics, you know, shows, whatever it is. Sure. Like, we've had a lot of great people on, and then a lot of great people decided that, I want to do your show. I love you, man. This is cool. You know, everybody's all chummy with each other. And then leading up to 10 minutes before we do the G Crew, people flake and bail. And I thought that's what Ryan was exactly going to do. And then you were in contact with him. And then here he is, man, shows up like an open book, tells us. And, you know, there's probably going to be people that are hating on it. But like I said, man, I don't care who you are. I will give you the benefit of the doubt, allow you to sit here and talk about whatever it is in life. If you have something compelling to talk about, you start bullshitting me, I'll just call you out on it. And it's like, I'm not here to shit on people, man. I think as human beings, no matter what you've gone through, we got to come together, man.
Yeah, for real, man.
And give each other the opportunity. And, you know, that's all I wanted to do with him. I met him once, and I remember being a really cool dude when I passed him at the Lloyd Povich show. And I'm like, man, I wish I could get to hang with him. And then I hear all this crap for a decade about, horrible, this, that, liar, everything, you know, from different people who've worked with him, from close people who've worked with him, people from, man, and then all the articles about skipping events just like broke my heart. I was like, come on, dude.
Right. And I think you're absolutely right, though, man. Like, especially now, like during these times, right? Like, we really got to support each other because, people are struggling, and they may be struggling in ways that we're never going to understand and that we don't quite get because we don't know everybody's story, you know? And people that are smiling on the outside are fucking dying on the inside, you know? And that's not cool. So it's like just being there for one another and being supportive and helpful in any way we can, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And look, we're not here trying to be like, oh, Ryan, you know, like put him up on a pedestal and say, it's okay, everyone.
No.
This is Ryan. I mean, he owned up to it.
That's just
I think that's somebody's character right now. Forget, you know, look, the past is the past. It happened. Let's move forward. Yeah. It's like, man, there's so many things we can talk about, but I mean, it's just like we're being a dead horse, and I think it's just drawing more negativity. And let's just go back to my saying that I always rely on: time will tell all. But I believe right now he is in a good place. He looks healthy. He's trying to make a difference, and he's helping people. But I don't also wake up and put his shoes on every day, understanding what he's going through and what truly is going on in his mind and what's happening. Yeah. Okay? Like, I will never understand it because I understand what I go through. Yeah. But this is a conversation that we have on G Crew, and this conversation that we will lie, but I have really close and good friends that I love, that are loyal, that are good to me and have been there for me through my hard times, you know, and I've always been the person who I am, but it's tough, man.
Sure.
You know, I just appreciate him. Honestly, what I appreciate more than anything with him is him coming on the G Crew right here and just talking about whatever questions, whatever we had, and not bullshit, and not like just being awkward with me. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what to say, or like, you know, fumbling into it. It's like, come on. He explained it. It is what it is. Let's move forward. And I think I appreciate that more than anything, to be honest with you. That to me is more of a stand-up character in the moment.
Yeah, for real, man. Just that real talk, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is what it's about. Let's bring people on. Let's talk about some stuff. I mean, look, whoever's listening, this could help that person with whatever they're going through in life. It could be depression. Be like, man, I'm going through that right now. I need somebody. I need somebody to lean on. I need that help.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been a crazy time. Rough days have been for everybody. And, you know, we're not trying to make this an emotional, sad thing or rundown thing. I think this is more of a uplifting. Let's look at this from something that we can change ourselves. Because if we're not helping ourselves, then we're not helping anybody, I think, around us. Definitely help yourself first. Make sure you're healthy first. Take care of yourself. You know, wake up, do something great in life. The life is short that we live. And just remember that, like, live for the moment in the great things you can fulfill.
Yeah. Absolutely, brother.
And be a G.
And be a G.
That's it. Just be a G.
Just be a G. That's what we stand for. A G stands for the people, stands for what's right, stands for the loyalty, stands for the reason, the voice of reason. The G stands for all things, you know, all things that are this positive, like, informational, interesting conceptual perspectives that we can all kind of gather no matter what your beliefs, backgrounds, abilities, what you've been through in life. A G is just that.
A G.
It is a G what you want to be. And we out.